Hello and welcome to my channel again. I say welcome again because this time I am mask free. So I originally decided that if I was going to start up a YouTube channel or whatever and start speaking my honest opinion, which apparently isn't necessarily allowed anymore, which is odd because I thought that I was an American. You know, I thought that was what we were all about, right? Freedom of speech, isn't that a thing still? But I figured if I was going to share my honest opinion and I didn't want to have my life threatened, which yes, that's a thing. I've seen people, women too, like women especially, who will create a channel and they will talk about these kind of topics, these very necessary, important topics, and then all of a sudden they'll come out and say, this is my last, I can't talk about this anymore. I have people, they found out who I am, they find out where I live, they're threatening to kill me, they're threatening to harm me, people are getting doxxed, all kinds of stuff. And whether these people are people that they know or people that they don't know, that part I don't know. I just know that it's a thing. It happens. People get threatened by their employers. People lose their jobs, and then like I said, some people are being threatened and they might lose their life. So my thought was, if I was going to share my honest opinion, that I didn't want anybody to know who I was, and I didn't want it. But then I thought about it because I was getting ready to make my next talking point, and I thought about it, and I'm like, geez, this thing is hot. This thing that I have on my face, it is hot. I'm sweating. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just use my real hair. That's fine. But then I'm like, so I'm out in a parking lot somewhere. I have this mask. I'm like, I'm trying to find a spot where nobody can see me because it looks obviously very weird. And just like every 5 minutes, I'm having to like stop the video. And I'm not in like a very busy area. Like I went to a very empty, secluded parking lot, but yet still it's like and I'm just like, you know what? I give up. I'm like, forget it. Number one, this is America. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is still America. I am still an American, which means I have the right to say what I want. That's my right. And I'm going to say it. And if people feel so inclined to find out who I am, find out what I'm about, I encourage them to, because I'm just a regular American that cares about their family, that cares about other people, their community. And so there's that. So I just wanted to start off with that, because you're going to be like, well, what the heck? You were wearing a mask and what's going on? I think I'm still going to keep the name The Veiled Reckoning, because it's a cool name, and I like it. And then it also kind of, maybe I should retitle it The Unveiled Reckoning, to just show like, hey, as much as I feel, or you're trying to force us to maybe hide who we are because you want us to feel threatened, you want us to feel like we can't use our rights of free speech, or even the Second Amendment now, apparently, for that matter, the Fourth Amendment. Apparently, we're losing rights, here, left and right. And so I guess to that, me taking off the mask is my way of saying, no, you're not. You're not going to take my right away. I'm going to say what I want, and I'm going to say it boldly and proudly and without a covering. And for those of you who want to come after me, if you don't agree with what I'm going to say, then go ahead and do it. You just go right on ahead and do it. I'm not afraid. I'm not going to be scared to say what I feel or show my face. I'm just not. So there's that. Now, what I was going to talk about, which I'm going to get into here, is the JP Sears thing. The JP Sears thing. What is going on with that? Okay? They say, or it's been said, if you want to find out who's in control, then find out who you can't criticize. Okay? Nothing is more true than the JP Sears controversy going on right now. If you haven't seen it, if you're not on X or if you're not on any social media, he's a comedian who has posted a video about the Zoom call that got leaked about Erica Kirk. And in this Zoom call, she was, I guess, a little more bubbly than somebody might have thought one might be after losing their husband just 6 days prior. And we'll get into my opinion on that in a moment. It almost doesn't even matter what my opinion is on that is, but the fact is that everybody and their mom, everyone and their mom, their sister, their cousin, everybody came out of the woodworks to condemn this guy. I mean, immediately just threw him under the bus, hit the wheel, boop, that's it. And it's so obvious. I mean, it would be almost at this point, and I don't even have that, I'm not even that smart of a person. So for me to notice this that's how you know that they need to get a new play in the playbook. If people like me are starting to notice the pattern, the habitual circular pattern that happens every single time someone gets called out, that's how you know you need to change what you're doing. It would almost be more convincing that if they just didn't say anything, if there wasn't 500 plus people, I don't know if it's that many, but a good amount of people coming out and condemning this and just raking them over the coals for this content. If they had all just said nothing, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I don't even think anybody would have thought anything of it. But now that everyone's doing that, it's almost it makes people go, well, why? It's not like he's doing anything different. This is what he does. That's what he's known for. He's been making content for several years. So it's I was just watching a video of his. He was making fun of the quality Leering Center thing, and then how difficult it must be to be a conservative influencer these days, which I'm sure that it is, considering everything that's going on over there on that side of the world. So he called that out, and then now, and that wasn't a problem. And you'll see a lot of these people say things like, well, I was totally on board and this was fine. And then, and I really used to like your content, but this is just this is overboard. You are criticizing a grieving widow to take, this is just horrendous. And Tyler Boyer hopping on the train, saying this is disgusting and blah, blah, blah. So that's when people start to go, well, why? This must have really struck a nerve. And you know that it struck a nerve because they all came out. And that's why I'm saying it's getting to a point where it's very obvious that something struck a nerve, or these people don't want us talking about it, or don't want certain people to talk about it. They want people to pick sides, specifically people that are prominent in influence culture or status or whatever. They are now you are either on the TPUSA side or you are not. And I wonder what that means. I wonder what it means to be not on their side. Does that mean that you get sued? Does that mean that you get doxxed? What does it mean? These are questions that I have. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Just let me know. I'm curious what anybody else is thinking about this. But like I said, he's just doing what he's always done, but all of a sudden now it's a problem. Weird. It's just weird. Let's call it what it is. And circling back to the whole her, being a little more upbeat and cheerful after her husband was just assassinated in front of everybody. That it's weird, it would be dishonest for me to say that it's not. Truthfully, it would be dishonest for me to say that that's not weird. It is weird. Am I going to go out and say that means that she absolutely, that's definitive, that she has some evil motives or that she was, involved in this somehow. No. I think that a lot of that still has to be looked into. And that was back to my first video that I was saying, like, there is something seriously wrong here. There is little to no evidence that other than what the FBI has provided about Tyler Robinson, which none of it just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. It just doesn't. None of the evidence, like, you mean to tell me that he shot him and then within seconds was able to, like, dismantle the gun, put it in his backpack that wouldn't have fit anyway. It wouldn't have fit in that backpack. There's plenty of videos on YouTube and go look at them to support that. But to do it within seconds and then get down off and then he's gonna go and then reassemble it and then go back to the crime and then put it in the woods and then send all these weird text messages. Like, first of all, nobody talks like that. Nobody texts like that. I have so many questions, guys. So many questions. And like I said, I mean, Baron Coleman, like, he breaks it down. He goes into, like, really good detail. Another person too, if you want to check out their videos about it, Valhalla, he did some tests with 30-06 to see, what would actually happen if something or someone was shot with one, like what actually would happen to them. And it just, things aren't adding up. So I have questions. So I can't say for sure who was or was not involved. What I'm saying is that the way that she's grieving, the process in which she is grieving seems weird. Again, I know everybody grieves differently. I personally I'm just saying on my own personal experience, I don't think that I would be able to I don't think I would be able to go on a Zoom call and talk about next steps and the business and just be like, okay, full steam ahead and this is what we're going to. I don't think that I would be able to do that without breaking down. Like, I just don't think that I could. And like I said, there's people who, like, they dig their head down into work just to not think about, just to get their mind off of it. There are people who, they just do certain things just to, like I said, grief is weird. It is weird. However, I think it's fair to point out just how weird it can be, especially when we're going on a Zoom call and we're laughing and we're talking about sales, and it's almost like you want to ask. I'm surprised that nobody actually did ask, and it seems like maybe the people that work for TPUSA, maybe they didn't feel comfortable asking her these questions, And I could see why. I mean, look at what's happening when we ask her these questions. We don't even know them, we don't know them personally or anything. We're just making content or just sharing our feelings about it, asking questions, and look at how they're being treated. People are saying, oh, I'm unsubscribing, I'm unfollowing, this is horrible. Someone called them a skin suit or something like that. I mean, it's like, and so imagine as an employee there, like, do you think that they have the ability to just, like, raise their hand real quick and just be like, hey, real quick, are you okay? Do you need a hug? Like, are you okay? I would be beside myself. Like, do you want to take a break? It's okay if you want to take a break, like, don't feel like you have to do this. Like, I would just be like, honey, like, your husband just died. Like, it's okay to take a break, and I know that you want to put your head down and you want to get to work and you want to forget about it, whatever, but, like, but I almost feel like nobody felt comfortable asking that question because nobody did. Maybe they weren't given the opportunity to. Maybe they're told they need to leave their mics off during the Zoom call. I don't know, but I can only imagine that maybe they're not allowed to, only because of the extreme backlash that apparently everybody is receiving for asking questions. Okay, they're getting, like I said, cease and desist letters. They are getting trampled on social media by other content creators or influential people. So it leads me to believe that maybe that just wasn't the case for them. So that's my opinion. And, you know, we'll see how this goes moving forward. But I just wanted to share my thoughts on that because it's so blatantly obvious at this point. And I don't know how they don't see that. I don't know how they don't see it. Because like I was saying before, I'm not even this, you know, I'm not the brightest bulb. I wouldn't call myself stupid. But, you know, you're starting to notice these patterns. If Candace asks a question or she strikes a nerve, everybody starts coming out of the woodworks. I mean, it's like, boof, boof. You just see them just attack. And then, now JP Sears, he says something, and same thing, attack. And you begin to wonder, like, every time somebody has a question about you, they seem to get attacked. So who are we not allowed to criticize? And what does that mean? What does it mean? Does it mean that you guys have some sort of control somewhere? I don't know. I'm asking. Because it doesn't really seem like we're allowed to criticize. Comedians aren't allowed to make jokes about things they've always joked about. It's nothing new. Candace isn't allowed to investigate or ask questions, which is literally what she does. But she is literally a journalist. That's what they do. You know, Wolves in Finance, he wasn't allowed to look at finances, which is literally in his name. Wolves in Finance. Right? So, just saying, you know, you can make your own decisions. Again, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing, and I'm wondering if everyone else is seeing it, and I'm wondering what it means. So, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Am I a crazy person? Or am I just an exhausted American like everyone else? Let me know what you think.